crazy tea about Erika Jane and this new lawsuit that dropped. So I wanted to come on live and give it to you guys. Give people just a second to get in the room. And of course, want to let everyone know that everything in this video is, of course, alleged. We're talking Erika Jane and a new lawsuit that has came out with allegations that Erika Jane and Tom purchased the Spelling Manor, and they purchased it in 2019. And I have a bunch of articles, well, not articles, but I have the actual court dockets to explain what has transpired between Erika and Tom, basically fraudulently taking the identity of this really wealthy person's father. Okay, there was a really wealthy person, Hey Sky, that got a huge settlement from a Saudi Arabia tower type of like $1 billion, right? Tom, Bank of America is being accused of like helping Tom and Erika defraud this person and his wife who live in Beverly Hills, California. And with the money that they used to defraud, they bought the Spelling Manor, the 50,000 square foot Spelling Manor in Beverly Hills, okay? And this allegations that Tom and Erika have been allowing them, their friends, their politicians, and other people to be partying and hanging out at the manor up until June of 2021 when this lawsuit was filed. These poor people are having to foot the bill for the water and the electric at the Spelling Manor, even though Tom and Erika fraudulently purchased it with their money. This is so crazy, guys. I can't even believe that this has hit the court docket and no one is talking about it. That's why I wanted to come on and do a live. I haven't been able to I didn't have an opportunity to do a ton of research on Candy Spelling and the home and the sale. But here's what else is crazy, guys. Everyone is being mentioned in this lawsuit. Mauricio is mentioned in this lawsuit. Rick Hilton is mentioned in this lawsuit. And they all are, these people are alleging that Mauricio, this escrow company, Rick Hilton, Bank of America, helped Tom and Erika defraud these people out of billions of dollars. Bank of America wouldn't even let the victims have access to their money, but there were 25 debit cards that Tom had distributed to his closest friends and family that had access to these victims' money. And Erika was one of them, and she was withdrawing allegedly up to $2,500 in cash a day. Now, allegedly, the Department of Justice, the Ohio Attorney General's office, these people had to go high up the ladder to even file this because Bank of America, like I said, in this lawsuit is being accused of helping Tom and Erika defraud these people out of billions of dollars and purchase the Spelling Manor where they've been allowing politicians, guys. They didn't name names. They named politicians, okay? They're politicians, their friends, their family, which i.e. means Erika's son. They've been hanging out, partying at the Spelling Mansion. This also tells us that Tom is not as sick as we thought he was because he pulled this billion-dollar Ponzi scheme off in 2020, 2019, 2021, still partying, living it up, and bartering out the Spelling Manor for whomever they felt like they wanted. Let's just break this down really slowly because this is so crazy and no one is talking about it, okay? I could find one law article on it, and then I found the court dockets, which I'm going to, of course, post everything on my Instagram, and I'll post it on the community page because it's important that you guys do your own research and that you read it for yourselves. Don't listen to bloggers' opinions. Do your research, okay? These accusations are insane. And the fact that they pulled off they basically intercepted a U.S. Treasury check from Saudi Arabia here to this gentleman whose last name is White. Erika played the mother as Erika White. Okay, guys? allegedly there has been proof of Erika fraudulently acting like Erika White has been turned over to the U.S. Attorney General's office because Erika and Tom were playing a part. Tom was playing the father of this son, okay, and Erika was playing the mother, the wife, whatever you want to call it. But she had a major, major role in this Ponzi scheme, okay, because she played off like she was the guy's mother. And so they acted like they had access to this money, but not before they basically intercepted the U.S. Treasury check for all of this money. I mean, the number is so big, guys, that I can't even say it. Okay, literally, I can't even say it. I'll pull it up on my other phone. I send some screenshots so I could go over some of the actual facts with you guys. Not to bore you, of course, with like legal commentary, but this is pretty serious, guys. The article, again, that there's this brokerage company that's involved, and of course, escrow. And this is where it says, I'm quoting, the violations by the realtors and attorneys regarding the spelling manner, which include fellow reality cast members Rick Hilton of Hilton and Highland, Mauricio Yermansky of the agency. In addition, of course, Coldwell Banking. Sorry, I just lost my page. Coldwell Bankers. Let's see here where we're at. In addition, Coldwell Banker. And then, of course, it names a bunch of other attorneys for the agency, which we know Mauricio owns the agency. And those have all been reported to, of course, the California bar. And hopefully the Ohio Attorney General's office. It says, in addition, attorney's complaint was submitted on California attorney Dennis Roach. He's part of the Clinton Development Inc., and he posed as a fraudulent property manager for the plaintiff's property, the spelling manner. Because here's what's important to know, guys. Since Erika and Tom fraudulently intercepted this man's billions of dollars and they spent it and they used the funds to buy the spelling manner, technically the guy's money who they stole owns the spelling manor now, right? So he's literally has not stepped 1 foot in the spelling manor. He didn't even know he purchased it until he realized he had been, been being defrauded. And he's being held liable to pay the water and the electric on a 50,000 square foot mansion in Beverly Hills. He's literally having to pay the electric and the water on it right now because Tom and Erika aren't obviously paying for it. They don't have the money. So he's being forced to pay for it. The spelling manner, of course, it lists his attorney, and they're saying that the estate attorney, Rick Carrasco, Caruso, current to Los Angeles, mayor candidate, friend of Tom Girardi, and we're also related to Michael with the same last name from the agency owned by Maurice Yermansky, which the California State Bar records showed surrendered his law license on July of 2019, the day that the Manor transaction from the plaintiff's Bank of America Lynch Global account was taken care of. So basically what happened when Tom and Erika intercepted this check, they opened up another global account, just like we saw. We keep hearing about Erika's account. Erika saying she didn't get the money, that it was her, what was it called? EJ Global or EG Global. No, it was Erika Jane Global. So it was EJ Global, okay? They did the same exact thing in this case. They intercepted the money and they opened up some sort of account that basically was like, in favor of so-and, like, they used the guy's name, which was Nicholas White, and they just fooling people, not necessarily fooling the big people, because this is alleging that the agency, Mauricio Yermansky, Rick Hilton, the CEO of Bank of America, all knew that Tom and Erika were fraudulently taking this guy's funds, and they all either turned a blind eye or helped him. It's a pretty in-depth case, but it's not easy to understand per se, but I'm giving you guys kind of the foundation here. Hi, Pam. The foundation here to go document. The court document is available online. And then, of course, this article that I got, I can give you guys the website and of course, the notes. Now, this just hit July 12th, I think it actually was filed and open to the public, which I also think is very strange that we haven't heard from Ronald Richards. He normally, anytime something is filed, I think if Erica goes down, so should they all. Bank of America has been shady. I'm shocked. Um, Oh, I'm so sorry that it's buffering in and out, Sky. Is it better, guys? I hope it's not buffering. I'll be pissed about it. I'll have to redo it with a better audio. I think I might have just got excited and my microphone was moving. I apologize. Absolutely, everyone involved should go down. And that's what happens, guys. And this is why we might not see anyone go down for it, because if they follow the gravy chain, if they follow the breadcrumbs, where's it going to go back to? High ass people like the CEO of Bank of America, like the politicians that have been hanging out partying at the Spelling Manor when they knew that Erica and Tom purchased it fraudulently. And this is another sign to us, guys. I've told you this before. If COVID never would have hit, we never would have saw the House of Cards fall with Tom and Erica. The only reason everything fell was because COVID slowed down and stopped the actual court proceedings and the judicial system. And therefore, Tom and Erica didn't have money coming in because there was no court taking place, which means there was no settlements being made. I think civil court was probably the last to go back working, full time again, because it's just civil cases. They can be done over the phone. It's a lot less than it is criminal. You know what I mean? So he expect for COVID to hit. No one did. And when he could not afford to miss work, he couldn't afford to miss settlements, he couldn't afford to not have clients, he couldn't afford to not go to court for 6 weeks, right? We saw when Erica was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, when they do the reunion that year. I always remember Andy Cohen asking Erica, "Hi, where's Tom at?" And she's like, "He's at work, Andy. When your name's above the door, you got to be there." And everyone's kind of looking at each other like, dude's like 84 years old, Alan says, "This goes back to me saying before Mauricio should have been called out. He has so many shady issues involving money too." And Alan is 1,000% correct, guys. We've talked about some of his bad business dealings with a Malibu house, that there was a huge lawsuit over the Malibu house. He allegedly took advantage of an entire government who had taken possession of the Malibu home somehow through like traffickers. I want to say it was like drug, something along those lines. The government of this small country had taken over. They had seized this property in Malibu. Mauricio gave them a bad what is the word called? Like when someone tells you what a property is worth, like an assessment, but that's not the word. I can't think of it because my mind's on 100, right? He told them that it was worth about, I don't know, $15 million less than what it was actually worth. Therefore, the people were like, just give us the money and take it off our hands. And Mauricio was like, perfect, I'll give you the 3.8 and I will take this property off of your hands. In a year, I'm going to sell it for 18.5 million. Appraisal. Thank you, Pam. Yes. Basically, they gave them a shady appraisal for about $15 million less than what the property was worth. They let the property sit for 1 year, which anyone knows a nice property in Malibu is high, it goes, right? People, whoever's who out there, like Malibu is beautiful. If you have money, you want to be out there. So properties that are big and beautiful mansions, they don't sit like that for a year. He did that so that he could say it was a different market than when he gave the appraisal. It gave him a lot of wiggle room should he have to go to court and defend himself. Also, he sold it to a good friend of his, also named Mauricio. So of course, he's been in a lawsuit over that for, I want to say like 6 years. Kyle helped herself. I mean, they filmed a whole episode in the mansion in Malibu that ended up being the center of this lawsuit that we saw Mauricio in, that was never mentioned on the show. Kyle was never asked questions about it. Mauricio was never asked questions about it. But it was about a $15 million shady business deal, okay? And this, again, we're seeing Rick Hilton named in these documents, these court documents. Hilton Highland, one of the gentlemen who allegedly was like the representation, he's unalive, unexpectedly unalive. the poor victims, like I said, Bank of America hasn't even let them touch their money, but they let Tom and Erika get a total of 25 debit cards. 25 debit cards with access to this account, which means Tom's daughters probably had one. The brother-in-law that worked at Girardi and Keith that we've all thought has been shady and was up to no good activity. He probably had one. Erika was allegedly withdrawing up to $2,500 a day in cash. They have photos of her. I'm going to post them on the community page and on my Instagram. It's the actual photos that was submitted into Discovery as evidence to show that Erika was posing as Erika White and she was withdrawing money from these people's accounts. And they ended up spending billions of dollars. I'm going to try to get you the actual number and in the actual article because the number is so big. It's going to be 119 comma 750 comma 000, and that's just for the purchase in 2019 for the spelling mansion. It says disguised as an LLC, which means disguised as a business, without his knowledge, without the guy that's suing, the guy whose actual money it is, without his knowledge, as the anonymous buyer of the alleged birthday present for the plaintiff's wife of the spelling manor located at 59 something something. You guys can look that up. South Mapleton Drive in Los Angeles, California. The property was co-listed by the agency. So the agency was co-listed on the spelling manor that Tom and Erika disguised themselves as these people, this couple. They put the money into like a global LLC account, and then they posed as an anonymous buyer to purchase the spelling manor for let me just pull this up here. Sorry, guys. My phone locks easy. Posed as an anonymous LLC, and they come in and they purchase the spelling manor for 119, comma 750, comma 000. This is July 2nd of 2019, less than a year before COVID hits. Okay, I use COVID as like a timeline for like the last 10 years, pre-COVID, after COVID. This was literally, COVID hit March 2020, right? So we're not even talking a year before COVID hit. So Tom was smart enough to intercept $1 billion check from a Saudi company to a resident in Beverly Hills, which means somebody tipped him off. That means somebody tipped him off that payment was coming through. He took it, intercepted it, moved it around, put it in an account with the ending of it global, and basically bought the spelling manor, allowed his friends, family, colleagues, and politicians to party there until everything went sour. And now these people, like I said, they're literally paying the electric and water, which I know you guys don't think sounds like shit, but literally the water bill was like $29,000 for like a couple of months. They're in Beverly Hills, right? Now this says basically they converted more than $14 billion of this man's money into a global account to Bank of America $25 billion stock buyback that was announced early in 2021. So this is not good. That makes it sound like Bank of America helped Tom and Erika so that they would invest $25 billion into a stock buyback announced early in 2021. Tom and EJ bought Candy Spelling's house for 119 plus million through an LLC and fake names, and Mauricio said it. That's the story. Basically, yes, but it's 119 billion, right? 119, 750, 000. It's in the billions. They took over 14 billion. This was Saudi Arabia money. This was money coming from overseas from the selling of a Saudi tower. Okay, so it's in the billions. I know it's hard for us to fathom, but literally in the billions. Just 14 billion is what they came up with. And here's the part. Erica's virtual financial assistant, launched in June of 2018, utilized the Bank of America owned Zelle payment platform, which allows transfers of up to $2,500 daily from the plaintiff's account. $2,500 daily from the victim's account. Assisted by Devon Investment. And sorry, I just moved the page. Investment, and it was like another, it was owned by Archer Systems, investment advisor associates of Tom Girardi, the Bank of America illicitly approved with Devon Investment. And then, of course, previously terminated. So, beginning in April 2021, Bank of America converted more than 14 billion of the victims' money into a global account that Tom and Erika were spending out of. Yeah, that's the story. So, how could Tom be so smart to pull off a $1 billion Ponzi scheme with the help of Erika, of course? She's just playing the part like she always does. This is not good. But I still don't know if we'll see criminal charges because we should have seen it. I don't know. I don't know if someone will take it on criminally. I'm assuming somebody also stated that the son, I didn't get a chance. I mean, it's about 14 to 16 pages. I read through what I could find of the most important parts. Again, shocked that Ronald Richards hasn't brought this to anyone's attention, which makes me a little bit even more suspicious that there might be big time people involved that we don't even know or realize. And this again will be why we will see no criminal charges. These people will just try to get their money. Basically, it's just crazy because that's a lot of money to take from somebody, guys. That's a lot. Like, you have to have a lot of balls to steal in the billions. I mean, you had to know that that was eventually going to catch up to you. You're going to buy the spelling manner. Shay says, I can't understand how people still think Erika's innocent. Mauricio is doing too much. We still don't have resolution with the agency and the vice president. I didn't get the rest of that. We don't have resolution with a lot of what Mauricio does, and Kyle just simply doesn't speak on it. But here's something else interesting. Rick Hilton is mentioned in this, but the main years and years and years. They competed with their Christmas decorations. So that's what has me a little bit confused. And I have to do some serious digging, unless it's possible, the spellings, he was very, very wealthy. He left Candy a lot of money. I'm sure they have multiple properties. But I have to do some digging on the address that's listed here, the South Mapleton Drive, and how far that would be from Kathy and Rick's actual house. Because, like I said, they've been neighbors for a long time. They competed on Christmas decorations. Hey, I'm so glad you caught my live too. Alan says that Erika isn't innocent. She's not the mastermind, just a small player in a huge money grab by Tom and his rich friend. Completely agree with you. But you still have to have, don't you though? $2,500 from their Zelle. I'm sorry, I didn't get to see what you were confused about, or I would explain it. I'm sorry, I didn't get to see all of that. You have to have a lot of balls to play a billionaire's wife and go in and start withdrawing money and opening up 25 different debit cards into accounts that have billions and billions of dollars. Like, you must think you're untouchable. I'm looking on Zillow, and it looks like Hilton and Holland had the listings in 2018, but then they were removed. Shit, Pam said I'm buffering. Pam, am I better? It's different internet. Thank you for looking that up. That sounds about right. Still don't understand how. I just saw, who was it? I want to say it was like the guy from the $1 Million Listing, and he was talking about Kathy and Candy competing with their Christmas decorations, and he's good friends with Tori Spelling. So I'm having a rough one today, guys, if you can't tell. So that's what's making me wonder how close. I hope I'm not buffering it. How close we really are to, like, the Hiltons to the spellings, because I thought, even for the Beverly Hills area, we know Beverly Hills isn't huge, but I thought they kind of lived right in the same vicinity of each other. Per Josh Flags, that's what his name was from Million Dollar Listing. Thank you. Yes, Josh. He was talking about, Kathy and Candy spelling, competing Christmas decorations every year in their yard and their house. And Tori, she hangs out with him sometimes, I noticed. I actually saw her also. How come nobody else is talking about this? This is why we subscribe. Thank you, Jay. I don't know. I said the same thing because I thought, is this even real? I mean, when I saw, there's actually a podcast I have to credit you. That's where I first saw that this had hit. Guys from Million Dollar Listing are going to be on Mauricio's show. I heard that. Probably. They're going to keep it in the Bravo family. He probably doesn't have enough agents to really go around that he wants to film, basically. I'm sure that the daughters, but they don't want to put all that much pressure on storyline the whole season on the daughters and just their listings. I'm sure it's going to be something like a Selling Sunset if we can depend on Netflix to give us the same thing. I'm probably guessing it's going to be like that. So they're definitely going to need some people to come in and talk real estate and, be fill-ins, basically. So it would make sense that they would pull some of them from the Million Dollar Listing, because that's been such a popular franchise amongst Bravo viewers. And they're already, they've already established themselves. They have names. And so Netflix is happy to bring them on a little bit. I don't know why no one else is talking about this. One, they may not have known that those documents have dropped, because I wasn't aware of it. And I actually found it out through a small podcast, which I'm going to give credit to in my description. I'll have to post it and then edit it. So don't come for me if I don't do it first. That led me to the actual court documents that were filed. So I started reading them, and that's when I decided to do a live, because I tell you guys, put your notifications on. This is why I come on live for you guys. I mean, I haven't even got a chance to dig into all of this, but I'm going to get all of, the dirty details. But from what I found, it was pretty jaw-dropping, especially considering that we haven't heard anyone speaking about it. So I was the first one to drop the Diana Black creator comment, racist that she did. It was a Saturday morning, and I was the #1 Google search for that for a short time. So I'm worth the follow, guys. I promise. I'm worth the like, and I'm worth that subscription. So hit that button. But I'm sure that once this starts spreading, I'm going to post, like I said, guys, I'm going to give you guys the court documents. Read them for yourselves. I'm going to post them out of this article. Read it yourself. MDL is canceled. Million Dollar Listing is canceled. I'm not sure. Is it canceled? I don't think. Is it, Shay? Did you say that like I said it was canceled? I don't think. I'm not sure, because I don't follow it all that much like I should, I guess. I'm too busy following Atlanta, Beverly Hills, Ultimate Girls Trip, and of course, Erika and Tom saga. Now, I did have some people questioning about Tom, like how Erika gave up a lot of different things, her clothes and this and these different things, and they're like, why is Erika having to turn in earrings? Why doesn't Tom have to turn anything in? So the situation kind of goes like that. Pasadena house, Tom had to get out too. Erika just filed for divorce. If you guys can remember, Erika filed for divorce. It hit the blogs. She moved into her little rental apartment. And that's when all the drama started with Dana Wilkie, because she had posted, well, we all were kind of posting about the people who were renting the home to Tom and Erika, and she put the address of the home on there, and people got so upset that she did, but it was public record, okay? So Erika already moved out of the house. She took what she wanted, what she had room for. She moves out, right? A month later, all of this starts happening, and that, if you guys remember, it, everything starts to happen. The trustees start to take legal action. Tom's still living in the home. He reports a robbery. Now, a lot of people allege that he reported a robbery so that the things people, or that the court may find of value that would have been in the home, he can say were stolen, or he doesn't know what happens to them, and he could take them and sell them, or give them to his brother to sell, or give it to Erika to sell, whatever the case may be. I'm sure you don't own $1 million Pasadena mansion, still steal billions of dollars, and not have anything of value inside your mansion, right? So the trustees actually, once they were able to get Tom out of the home, because at first Tom argued that he should be allowed to stay in his home because number one, there was upkeep on the home, such as gardener, just having someone in the mansion was better than leaving it sit, especially, the size of the mansion. So he argued for a while that it was actually in benefit of the trustee and in benefit of, basically the whole for him to stay in the Pasadena mansion until it was sold so that someone was staying there and keeping up with the upkeep. Well, he ended up losing that filing and they gave him a deadline and he had to move out. So technically, the mansion will be sold and it will go against all of the debt that they owe. It'll be the trustee's responsibility. They go through the estate and they pull what they think is worth of any value, and add that basically to the pot. And once they get all of the money in the pot, they're going to deal with the bankruptcy between Tom and Erika, which allegedly was thrown in there on purpose, just to kind of help Tom and Erika, give them a little bit of an advantage, because what happens then is the court will start to pay the people that have filed lawsuits, and I'm under the understanding that they start in the order of who filed lawsuits first. They will actually get paid first. And again, we've talked about how anything that the trustees if they find, it's their job to investigate Tom and Erika almost to find out where all of these millions of dollars went. Was it spent? Was it, transferred into cash and sent overseas? Was Bitcoin bought with it? Like, where did all of these funds go? So that's the trustee's job partly. Now, any funds that they find that are affiliated with the state that they can get money for, they get a percentage. And that's essentially how the trustees get paid. So they make a percentage of what they can contribute to the pot of the estate that will eventually pay the people that have filed the lawsuits. So, as of right now, Erika has no criminal charges against her. However, I don't know if you guys heard me or not, but this woman who, this is her and her husband. This was their billions of dollars, family money, Saudi Arabia money that came from overseas. And she, like I said, it's in the discovery. I'm going to post it. It was filed with the court docket. It's online, and it's a picture of Erika walking like she just left the bank, and she went in and impersonated this woman and said that her name was Erika White. So you can get into trouble for impersonating people. Are you going to be looking at a felony? Not necessarily. She could still get charged with, a lot of different things, whatever they want to charge her with. But again, if we have politicians partying in a 50,000 square foot mansion in Beverly Hills that everyone knows is a spelling mansion, that if Rick Hilton and Hilton Highland and Mauricio and the agency and all of these people know that Tom and Erika are defrauding these other people, it's kind of crazy, right? Because the people, the whites, we'll call them, that's who is her maiden name White. So Erika posed as Erika White is basically who she posed as. She took the last name of the gentleman whose all the money came in, and she posed as Tom's wife, but Tom was posing as Nicholas's father. Okay. So she had to have an inkling. This kind of blows her I didn't know what Tom was doing story is kind of, it doesn't really matter to civil court because she's going to end up owing a lot of money anyway. She owes $2.2 million in taxes right now that she claims she can't pay. But it really takes the I didn't know what he was doing, theory out the door. It does. You can't. How are you going to explain why you went into the bank and said you were Erika White and got 25 debit cards on basically an endless account? My goodness. So this woman, the woman who she stole from, her husband basically, she made sure to include a photograph of Erika leaving the bank impersonating her. And she submitted it with the documentation to the court, as proof that this is Erika taking advantage and impersonating me to get debit cards to an account to money that I don't even have access to. But this fraud over here going by Erika White has had access to it since 2019. Okay. Interesting. They mentioned Zelle. They kind of made it sound like Zelle is like linked to the Bank of America. The article makes it sound can't remember the full details. I remember the blind item where the housewife was going to a security deposit box somewhere, I want to say in Chinatown or in Southern California, and they were making it sound like once a week she was going there and either taking cash or depositing cash. Oh yeah, Josh. Yeah. Shay, you're right. Let's see here. I wanted to read that. So but they are making it sound like Bank of America was profiting because Tom and Erica were like using different kind of resources. Like they mentioned the Cash App Zelle. Like they almost make it sound like Erica basically was using the new app Zelle that Bank of America came out with, and that Bank of America is guilty for basically. Damn it! I'm not having a good day today. All this chaos with this case got me mixed up. Anyways, they make it sound like Bank of America's CEO is in trouble. He can't be CEO anymore because he was an affiliate of Tom Girardi, and they are nervous that basically he had something to do with this, and he basically overlooked the fact that Tom and Erica were completely defrauding these people, and they just looked the other way. There's so many investment groups, and there's so many CEO Brian, it's Moynihan, and more than 104 times he committed by good. I'm just saying it's not good. They had to additionally to the matter, let's see here. They had to go really high up to even get this filed. They had to go through the Senate Judiciary Committee in regards to the outreach for the Girardi victims to the Ohio General Garland at the U.S. Department of Justice. Also, moreover, the U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security has been notified regarding the passport fraud at Bank of America by Italian native Tom Girardi on U.S. citizen Nicholas White, which is who we've been talking about. What makes me suspicious is that Nicholas White and his wife have a Beverly Hills address. So you're giving a treasury check for billions of dollars, up to $25 billion, right? Number one, to even steal it. Secondly, Beverly Hills is not that big, guys. I'm not saying it's not beautiful, nice, expensive, California, all of those things. But Beverly Hills is not like, it's a borough, if you will, of LA. Everyone knows everyone there. So how would Mauricio and all of these businessmen and real estate be in a community in Beverly Hills and not know these people, not know that they're billionaires? Like, you don't, if you're a billionaire and you're getting a check for billionaires, you're not going to be like that pressed over it, right? Check from the Saudis for $25 billion, you're going to be watching when it got, I mean, you're going to be tracking it, right? You're going to know where the heck it's at. They didn't seem to be tracking this money. Like, it's like they got a hold of it. Tom and Erica got a hold of it, did this whole Ponzi scheme. And thank you, Alan. Backed me up. Beverly Hills is small, only 1 to 2 high schools. Thank you, Beverly High. So people, they would have been seeing these people. I would assume they would know who they were because everyone would know who Tom and Erica were pretending to be. So Mauricio knew, Rick knew, all of people at the agency that have since stepped down, people at the agency that turned in their law license the day that this transaction took place. Maybe gathering all the facts before announcing, possibly. I mean, this definitely, Ronald Richards could be gathering all the facts before he says something. But again, Ronald Richards lives in Beverly Hills. So Ronald Richards, he knows that Beverly Hills is small too. And he knows that everyone knows everyone. So I think that he would have had word on this, some sort of information, something to give us. I feel like he would jump on it any other time. Anything in the courts are posted on Tom and Erica, Ronald is on it right away. So I'm just a little bit like, I did tag him, like, what's going on with this? Can you give it? Because I was reading it and rereading it because it is sometimes difficult to understand court dockets, and I wanted to make sure that I had at least a good understanding on the 14 pages before Alan says I think Ronald is involved too. I hope that's not the case, Alan. You guys know I support Ronald Richards because he gives us he's like not someone pretending to be a lawyer. you can ask people for advice. Everyone's going to be a lawyer, right? But Ronald is actually, you know, an educated lawyer, and he's like the only person that's ever came on to a social platform and offered to answer Bravo viewers' questions. So for that, I give him some kudos. Oh, thank you so much for the 2.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. So kind of you. You guys know I love you. I try to come on and bring you the tea right away. I mean, I still have to get to the bottom of where Candy is living and staying because she didn't tell me she was moving, and Miss Candy Spelling, I just feel like she would have let me know if she was leaving her mansion in Beverly Hills. I mean, she forgot to tell me. She forgot to call me. Also, guys, I came across a hilarious tweet. Kathy Hilton tweeted at I don't even know who it was. She's into like all these different people. Oh, thank you so much. Another super chat from MT Callaways. I appreciate you guys. Kathy, she likes to post at people for them to call her back. Kyle mentioned it in the episode how Kathy will get on Instagram or Twitter and say, hey, call me Kyle. And Kyle's like that a million people are saying, call your sister. Teresa's Candy moved into a 2 or 3 story condo 3 years ago. I can't believe, how dare her to not tell me. I've been sending her Christmas cards and everything. No, I'm joking. Okay, cool. I'm very glad that fits our timeline of 2019, which, again, she must have put it in the market on 2018. It was on Zelle in 2018, pulled in 2019. Candy had a YouTube special on moving into her condo. Damn, Teresa, you know everything. I love you. I'm going to have to look into that, guys. Did you hear that? Candy Spelling had a YouTube special on her moving into a condo. She moved from a 50,000 square mansion to a condo, and she got paid a lot of money. And she cut Tori completely off. That's why Tori kind of walks around Beverly Hills busted hair extensions and her kids. And she's with that guy that cheats on her, and they had their own reality series. And I wouldn't mind maybe seeing Tori as a guest or maybe like a friend of, and see how she did with the Beverly Hills. But I don't think that she has the means to keep up with the Beverly Hills lifestyle. They say that she doesn't have a lot of money of her own, and that her mom has to pretty much, she cut her off financially, and she just helps her when she has to, because the dad didn't want to leave Tori money because they said that she just spends it. She just blows it. And she was so used to having so much money growing up. Aaron Spelling being her father, he was a big time Fox producer. I'm sure his money was long, and she shopped out Rodeo, and it was a regular thing for her. So to go from that to like a husband that don't make a lot of money and your kids, and yeah, she doesn't look great all the time when I see her on Josh Flagg's stories and stuff. And I also did follow her. I think I still follow her, but nothing too exciting coming from her page that I would like vote for her. She originally sold the home to the Russian heiress whose father owns Formula One racing. Wow, that is not listed in the documents. Probably because of the fact that the person suing Bank of America, Tom Girardi, the victim, he didn't even know he bought the Spelling Mansion. He had no idea that he was the owner of a 50,000 square foot home in Beverly Hills that goes by the Spelling Manor. He had no idea. So that's why now they're like, give us the house at least. We have to pay the utilities on it. Now that we know what happened to our money, we shouldn't have to be paying the electric and the water on the house. Like, literally, guys, I'm going to give you the exact number because I'll give you the article. It was like $28,000 in water for the mansion. Like, they probably have to pay for the upkeep as well. Who's paying the taxes? Because Tom Girardi would have naturally kept up with those things, because those are the things that would have got him hemmed up, right? He couldn't have the taxes unpaid, because they're going to come looking for the owner. Is Erika Girardi going to answer the door as Erika White? Probably. I mean, who knows what she's going to do? She had no problem going into the bank and playing Erika White. So I'm sure she would have no problem telling it to the police. Oh, wait, her son is the police. So maybe he'll answer the door and he'll know the police that have came there. I mean, who knows? Like I said, I didn't get to go thoroughly through with a fine tooth comb, the 14-page docket. She paid $95 million. Pedro, I don't. Petra, Petra, paid 95 million. This was 119. I had to do the commas, Teresa, because I wasn't even smart enough to be like, is that in the billions or the millions? Because the number was so big, and I gave it to you guys earlier. But for everyone that's joined since, I'll give it to you guys again. It's something like 119, comma. Let's see here. I got it for you guys. What Tom and Erika paid. And talk. I can't even give it to you guys. But the home allegedly was purchased for. Yes, why can't I find it? Okay, here we go, Teresa. It was another unauthorized transaction. Bank of America aided and abetted the Girardis with included the wire transfer from the account that Tom and Erika created in the amount of 119,750,000 for the purchase on July 2nd of 2019. It was disguised as an LLC without the victim's knowledge, and it was disguised as an anonymous buyer of an alleged birthday present for the wife. And it was a spelling manor located at, you know where it's at, 59 South Mapleton. I won't say it all, but on South Mapleton in Los Angeles. This property was co-listed by the agency for everyone who has just joined the chat, which the Hilton is also mentioned in this. Everyone that joined the room, I'll go ahead and let you guys know in June of 2018, Bank of America owned Zelle, which was a payment platform which allowed transfers up to $2,500 daily. And in this case, daily from this person's account, from the victim's account. Assisted by a Devon Investment Advisory, Tom and Erika basically withdrew $2,500 daily from the victim's Zelle account, which was owned by Bank of America. So they were kind of paying Bank of America for looking the other way by using the Zelle the Zelle app every single day in the amount of $2,500 because Zelle was getting a payment on that. And then also it looked like there was a $25 billion stock buyback that was announced early in 2021. So yes, guys, this is what Tom and Erika did. The lady, the wife who's pissed that Erika claimed to be her, she went ahead and posted in a discovery. Like, she basically entered it as evidence for their case, and it's a photo of Erika coming out of the bank posing as her. And there was also 25 debit cards linked to the victim's account, the victim having zero access to his money, and 25 of Tom and Erika's closest friends and family having access to the account. That's true, guys. 25 debit cards linked and allegedly passed out to Tom and Erika's friends and family. Well, Tom's. I'm sure that they included Erika's son, because why not? But it was basically Tom's people. So, yeah, they were partying in the mansion up until like 2000. What did I say? I think 2020? 2021 even. So this is pretty crazy. I'm going to do some more deep diving into Candy spelling, but I'm so glad, Teresa, that you told me that she did a whole YouTube video on moving into a condo. I can't wait to watch it. Now that this is dropped, I'm sure the bloggers will start picking up on it. So just make sure you guys remind them where you heard it first. This is why you got to turn your notifications on. I let you guys know the Department of Justice is in on this, Ohio Attorney General's office. So it's possible we might see criminal charges, but I highly doubt it because of the fact that it even states in the actual court dockets that politicians were partying at the house. No way Tom and Erika could buy this alone. There had to be two investors, all who probably lost money. They stole the victim's money. This guy, his dad is a Saudi Arabia billionaire, and they sold a Soviet tower. I'll post the exact name from the article and from the court dockets in the community page on my YouTube and also on my Instagram. So it wasn't their money. It wasn't even close to being their money. They actually intercepted a U.S. Treasury check in the middle, which was for billions of dollars, and they put it into a account. Basically, how they had EJ Global, they put this victim's money into an account, and they used it as they saw fit, and they asked Bank of America and many other places to turn a blind eye. So I want to know what you guys think of this crazy mess. I mean, if we, Andy Cohen was going nuts because Jen Shaw changed her plea from not guilty to guilty, right? He was like so upset because she was acting like she has been a victim in all of this and she was wrongly accused. And now we have this coming out about Erika possibly buying the spelling manor with somebody else's money and then partying in it with her closest friends and politicians for over a year and a half. This is wild. And the fact that Rick Hilton and Mauricia knew, even more wild. And the fact that the agency and the Hiltons are involved is even more wild. I mean, that's crazy, guys. Beverly Hills, it's a small town, it's kind of like New Jersey. We don't see that on the show right now because the women are kind of spread out and you've got them in the valley and who's in Beverly Hills? Lisa Rinna, is that it? Diana? I feel like Diana's in Malibu most of the time. But you don't see the tight web of people like you necessarily would like at the beginning when Lisa Vanderpump lived across the street from Adrian. They would just walk across the street. It was like the craziest thing because they were in these huge mansions with these huge gates, and they would just walk across the street to each other's mansions. So that's like, Beverly Hills, it's small. It's not like we necessarily think. We just don't get that small town feel from the franchise right now because we have a lot of women that live in the valley. So, all right, guys. Well, let me know what your opinion is. I'm going to do some digging. You know that. So make sure you guys comment, hit a like button, subscribe to my channel, turn those notifications on. That's the only way you're going to stay up to date. I always bring you guys the tea. Pam says, you got to wonder about Candy's spelling and how she treats Tori. I agree with you. It sounds like she treats her pretty terrible. She doesn't give her any money at all, which I feel like Candy has so much money. She knows that Tori, if she set her up in a trust, set her up in something where she got a monthly amount or like a financial advisor that just paid all of her bills. I think the husband might be why Candy doesn't help out. That's true, Shay. I don't think she cares for Dean. I think he's cheated on Tori a lot, so I'm sure. But I just don't think Candy and Tori ever got along ever to begin with. Even though they were mother and daughter, I feel like there was always a lot of bad press around Candy and Tori's relationship. Even like on Tori's days on 90210 and Aaron putting her on the show and it being such a big hit. I think that sometimes it caused tension in their home and tension between Candy and Tori because there was such a loving relationship between Tori and her dad. And I also think that Tori kind of felt bad for the son because the dad poured so much into Tori and not so much into the son, at least from their perspective. So, all right, guys. Well, like I said, let me know what you think. And also, I'm going to be doing I don't know if you guys follow her. If not, you should check her out. Super funny. It's Bravo and Blaze. Her name is Jenny, and she advocates for being like medicinal marijuana friendly. And she loves Housewives. She does all these great memes, and she has a podcast on Apple. And I'm going to collab with her tomorrow live at 2:00. And there's a lot of things we could be talking about, guys. So you guys should check that out. I'm going to be posting something about that soon. So stay tuned, guys. Turn those notifications on, and don't forget to pay attention to my Instagram. Sometimes it loads faster. HW Historian. I'm going to post this stuff on Erika. Probably YouTube first, though, because everyone's going to jump on it when it hits Instagram. Either way, I will have the court dockets and some of this article posted for you guys to check out yourself. Look at the numbers yourself. Read it and see what you think about Erika and Tom. And yeah, I want to know what you guys think. So make sure you comment. Have a great Monday, guys.